Hi everyone, this is another evidence release to support our three-part docu-series Israel Keyes Life in Full Detail. This series is exclusive to Crime Culture Media at crimecult.com, so visit the website and subscribe if you want to watch all 3 episodes right now. This is an interview with serial killer Israel Keyes' babysitter. She talks about him, his work schedule, his daughter, food, their dogs, just basically what she did in her job and the things that she observed about this serial killer. It's very interesting to listen to, in my opinion, because we get more of a glimpse into the daily life of this serial killer. I really feel like releasing these interviews, especially if you watch our 3-part documentary, which already has so much info and evidence in it. It totals 6 hours. Really add even more detail if you are interested in the details of this true crime case and the psychology of a serial killer, how someone can end up like that, just wondering what does their daily life even look like? How do all these people surrounding them not even realize who they are and what they do? It's very scary. And as always, I would love to know what you think about this interview, and give this video a like if you want more evidence releases. Here is the interview.
This is Officer Bill. I'm going on tape. It is the 22nd of March, 10:28 by my watch. Is that right? I'm with, this is reference 12-5307, and also present is his mother.
Sorry, I pronounce that wrong every single time.
Everybody does, all my life.
Okay. What's your date of birth? Okay.
You just had a birthday turn 20.
Yeah.
So your birthday was on the...
Yes.
Okay. I guess first of all, if you wouldn't mind just telling me what were you the babysitter? What was your relationship with or the family there?
Yeah, I was their babysitter, so I watched it, not all the time, but it was, occasionally, and yeah, also friends.
Is
The 10-year-old that I said hello to.
that the one downstairs? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so how long have you known and or the family?
Probably 2 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I guess what I like that just generally recently, have you seen from December? How often do you see Israel? Does he drop her off? Does she just come over here and he makes sure she's here?
Over, we go and pick up my daughter from his house and stuff. And
He's like right around the corner.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
probably seeing at least once a week.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And I don't know if anybody's asked you this. You would probably ask this, but do you know the truck he drives? The white truck he
Yeah.
drives with the green toolbox
Yeah,
and the
I've
lumber
seen
rack on it. Have you ever seen that truck without the toolbox?
I
In-
haven't personally seen
Okay.
it without. Every time I go over there, it's always has the lumber rack and stuff on it.
Because when I was here last time and I asked,
Yeah.
and she said that she had. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember she said that. But she goes over there,
More
regularly.
frequently.
She
so
is over
She
Okay.
goes over there a lot. And if it's daylight, then she always has to take her sister or her brother or something. So they go over there too. But if it's daylight, then they just come back on their own. But if it's dark, because it gets dark earlier,
Okay.
then we go and get them. But
Okay.
I have to walk by his truck all the time in order to
Yeah.
get to his door, and
Yeah.
it just always looks the same. But I never really, paid a lot of attention.
And so when you would babysit for him, is it because he's working? Is it because he's doing? Would it be daytime, nighttime?
It was always night, and he would be going out with his girlfriend.
Okay.
Just doing something, going to a play or a party or something.
Okay. And would you say you were babysitting more recently or less than normal?
Probably less than normal. I just recently was house sitting for him, kind of watching his 3 pugs and little lizard.
Oh,
Hello.
I'm Mark Laporte. I didn't meet
I met you before. I'm Officer Bell.
Oh,
How you
yeah,
doing?
you were
Have a
that
seat.
first day.
And father
Yes.
just walked in. Is it? That's right.
Yes.
Okay. We're running. I have a tape recorder running. All right. So, you'd say less because.
They just haven't been needing me as often.
Okay. And you said you house sat for them?
Yeah, that was, I think I started house sitting for them on February 2nd.
I thought it was the third.
Or 3rd. Well, I just,
It might have been the second.
I wrote a note after he called me. Yeah, actually, it could have been. It was probably the first.
I'm assuming that maybe since this you've been thinking of stuff yourself. I mean, since this big thing blew up.
I called.
So you think February 2nd, you start house sitting? Now that will be when he left the first time to go to Texas.
Yeah, see,
Went
I
to
guess
Mexico.
he went
On a cruise.
Right.
I think what they did is they went to Louisiana first, and they took a cruise to Mexico, and then they went to Texas from there.
Okay.
I think that's what they said.
Okay.
So, and then they were there in Texas for a little while. They came back to Alaska for a couple weeks, and then they left for Texas again, just he and for a wedding.
Okay.
I believe that's what
But they had told us that they were going to do that too.
Yeah, it was a while.
Did he mention when he was coming back after the wedding trip?
They said that they would be back before spring break was over.
Okay. All right. So that might answer a lot of the questions I have. And so what we've done now since Israel's arrest is we've got his phone records. So we know who he called and who called him on his phone. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is there's some probably explains why there's so much correspondence, or at least more than what I initially thought for a babysitter.
Right.
And the times. So one of them that would be really important to us to know what you were talking about was that you know that Samantha disappeared on February 1st. All right, and I brought I have a calendar just to help you if you don't remember when the days of the week are. So Wednesday, February 1st is the night that Samantha disappeared at 8:00 at night, and then the next day on the 2nd is when Israel and left for New Orleans or for their cruise. And so one of the phone calls, and this probably explains it, why I thought 6 minutes and 6 seconds on Wednesday the 1st at 5:53. So 6 o'clock at night. Do you remember what was that? Just about what was going to happen on the caring for the dogs? Was that? And I don't see any correspondence between you and. Was there some?
No, not really. She
Okay.
wrote me a note when I got there.
So he's not the one who calls you to arrange the house. And
No.
It was him, Israel. Do you remember that phone call in particular?
On the first?
Yes.
Yeah, he called me to ask to take care of his dogs.
Okay.
'Cause he was
So
going on a cruise.
that's the first time he asked for you to babysit the house, basically, and the dogs.
Yeah.
You hadn't talked about it prior to that.
No.
Okay. Do you know how long I had said that they were planning on leaving?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of a last minute thing where
She said that the neighbors were going to watch the dog, but the neighbors for some reason they didn't.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so you were kind of neighbors.
Yeah,
right?
that-
So that's why-
Someone was going to watch it for him.
That's why the late call right before you left.
Yes.
Okay. So then that's on the first. He's basically is he giving you some instructions on when to feed him, all that
Yeah,
kind of
the
stuff?
code to
Did
the
you
door.
stay there, or did you just go over there? And
I
do
just
that?
walked over there every day to take
Okay.
care of the dogs.
All right. So then, when he arrives in Texas on the 2nd, there is at 7 in the evening. So 7 o'clock in the evening.
Texas time or less?
Well, I don't know. I don't know whether they've. This is all Alaska time.
Probably Texas time, which will be Texas time before.
I can only presume that he has just gotten there. Probably just gotten there. Actually, it looks like he's there around 6 o'clock at night. But so around 8 o'clock, there's 3 phone calls, 2 attempts, it looks like, to you, and then 1 successful where he talks to you for about 3 minutes. Do you remember that the next day on the 2nd? And it would have been.
Oh, yeah.
It's in the evening at 8:13, so I don't know whether it's 5:15 here or it is truly 8:15.
It might have been when he asked me how everything was going. Like,
Okay.
like if the dogs were eating and stuff.
Okay.
Because they don't like to eat sometimes. So he said if they're not eating, then to let him know so that I can put special things in their food.
Okay.
So
Are they his dogs or both?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
Just like the house is hers and everything. That's what I heard.
Okay. And then do you? And again, these may be all. I don't know if you remember anything specific, but on Saturday, so 4 days after they leave, you guys talk for about a minute at 4 in the afternoon. I don't know whether that's 1 in the afternoon or 4 in the afternoon,
yeah.
but sometime in the afternoon on that Saturday. Do you remember that call at all?
You called her?
Yeah.
All the phone. I don't see any phone calls from
Yeah, the one time when I called him.
Except for the one after he's arrested.
Partially asleep, and I was like,
Well, but no, it's not really
But
because
it's not,
we
because you're
couldn't
worried
tell.
I mean, fully understand.
Right, we were just worried about.
When we were here, we weren't at a point where we could come and tell you Israel's been arrested in Texas and he's a person of business in a kidnapping.
Right.
That's why we didn't tell you that, because
We understand.
the ruse that we did was nobody has seen them.
Right.
We're looking for them.
So they were all worried about.
Yeah. I was concerned. I was like, it is
Yeah.
partially awake.
I understand. So, do you remember that call at all on Saturday?
It was probably him just calling to see how things were again.
Okay. And then another one that, again, before I knew you were house sitting was weird, and I still think it's weird. At 2:26 in the morning on the Sunday, so that evening, he talks to you at 4 in the afternoon or so for about a minute. And then
What day was that again?
the 4th.
Oh, okay.
So on the
Yeah.
4th, there's a phone call for about a minute.
Okay.
And then at 2:26 in the morning
On the 5th.
on the 5th, so the night of Saturday, so Saturday night, Sunday morning, there's a minute phone call where he initiated contact with you at 2:26 in the morning.
2:26 in the morning would be like
It's either
5 o'clock. No.
There or
No, it'd be 11 o'clock. Here.
could be 11 o'clock here. I don't know whether they've corrected these times
Oh, right.
to all Alaska
They're
times
probably to the tower.
or
there.
origination time, because he crossed so many states.
Yeah,
that's,
right. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Remember?
I don't.
Is they
I
calling
think.
you
I
late
think I
at night
remember
or
him calling
early?
me kind of late. But
Do you still have your phone?
Uh-huh.
Do you erase contacts or stuff?
No, I don't
So would
erase
all that
anything.
still be in there?
I tried to look
back.
back.
I
back.
don't know if it'll go that
Goes
far.
back
It doesn't
so
show
far.
anything.
She
I
was
mean,
Is it an iPhone?
How about?
Yeah, it is.
Well, but what does show up is texting. Can you pull him up and see what kind of? Because he sent you some texts also.
Yeah, he did send me some texts. I haven't deleted those. So, most of them are just about when he took them to what was that? What's that called? The dog sled races.
Oh yeah,
Did
they
it
have.
right.
I did a ride. Yeah, he took that, and so he sent me some pictures of them with the ice sculptures and everything. Because he doesn't have my mom's number.
Yeah.
Sent to us. She does it over at the friends.
Okay.
Has my number, but he doesn't. So.
Pretty much, he just said it was like about 1 a.m. when he texted me and said that he's back.
So this is the one where he texts you on the
So she would know not to go to Pizza Dog.
on the 18th. So he texts you at 1:11 a.m. and then he also sends you a text at 2:16.
Yeah, and when he called me on the 14th,
Mhm.
he was supposed to be back by then, but he said that he missed his flight.
What when he called you on this? What did he tell you that day?
Okay, he said that he had gotten stuck.
In the mud.
Got stuck, and then he was like gone for I think an entire day. That's what he was like. No one knew where he was or anything.
Did he tell you where he was?
No, yeah, he just he said he got stuck and lost, and so it made it so he missed his flight, and so he just figured he would stay a few days longer. And that he got stuck, and he wasn't able to contact anyone, and he was stuck there for a long time, and then he came back, and then
And
stayed.
with his mom during this
Yeah,
time?
she was with
Have you talked
the
since?
family.
No, wish we could.
We've talked,
No.
when they were back here, of course.
But I mean, has her phone.
But we have not. Yeah, we
We
haven't.
can't
don't
find
know
her
her
We
phone.
can't find her phone number because she always called me, and I looked on my phone and like the iPhones. If I get too many calls, all of a sudden it's
It
gone.
disappears.
Yeah, yeah.
And I couldn't find the phone number. And my daughter's phone, she can't find it on it.
Can you, do you have data on your iPhone?
Yes, internet.
Yeah. So
yeah.
can you can actually edit the text that he sent you, and under the edit you can click them all.
Is it okay if I take photos of these texts from
I was
him?
going to have her send them to your email,
Oh,
and then you can hit forward, and we can give you his email, and you can do.
in case she
You can do
can't.
that.
In case she
on the
can't figure that out.
photos,
Do you know how to do it
too.
for
Would you
sure?
mind if we did that?
Sure.
Okay.
You know how to do that, right?
Because that is kind of a
Okay, this
interesting
is,
period of
you know,
time
so
for
we
us
get
on the
edit.
14th there, and then he called
And
you
then we
during it.
select
So
all.
he just basically says, "I'm stuck somewhere in the mud."
Yeah, like when he called me, he wasn't
Stuck.
anymore. Right
He had
then.
been.
And then
He
you
was
forward.
talking about how he was stuck,
Okay.
and that he missed
We want to
his
send
flight or
that to,
something like
yours
that.
is
And
jbell
At muni.org.
Okay.
So he wanted to tell her that he was going to need her to watch the
because he
dog
wasn't
longer.
going to be in town.
Yeah, and then and he said he'd pay her extra.
Okay.
And he did.
And so then at 1 a.m. he texts you to say I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything's good. And then at 4 o'clock that afternoon, so the night he gets
I haven't
back,
seen it yet.
you guys talk for about a minute
Then
again.
I come here and I did see it.
So he's back in the middle of the night, and then you guys talk at 4 in the afternoon.
I
I
came
think that was
afterwards
just,
when we found out.
We
because
didn't say thank you or
We
something.
didn't tell you
or
the time he was arrested. We had his phone.
he
Saw
came
that
over
your
and he
daughter
said he
had
would
called.
give me money
And
after.
She
came
brought
not
over the
knowing
money
that
too,
he
yeah.
Okay.
contacted you for
And so then on Saturday, this might be the Iditarod. There's 4 texts from him. Are those all pictures probably that he has sent to you? Okay.
So, and is that all the photo in that text message from him? That's not all the photos and all the text.
That's all we have for that time period.
Yeah.
So there's nothing else. Okay, I've sent that to your email.
Okay, thank you.
You can pull it up on your phone, confirm it's there, but with the photos, it'll take you 2 minutes.
All right. All right. Well, that pretty much explains the questions I had for.
For that.
And then when so during, I guess, another period of time that I'd really like to be interested in is so when he gets back the first time, when he gets back the 17th, 18th at 1 in the morning, when you get these text messages from him, do you recall any contact between like that time, either watching or with him until he gets back? Do you know when he gets back? By the way, you know she didn't come back with him on the 17th.
No, I didn't.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
that she didn't come back with him. And I said, oh, why not? And she said, I don't know. That's,
I didn't know
but she
that.
did say something to us about it, and I was like, oh. And then she said something about when they were going to go back for the wedding, they were going to get it go. And you had asked her, like, something, I don't remember. She told you something about it.
Did she say anything about the second trip, about what their plans were other than a wedding? Were they going to go anywhere else? Were they flying straight to the wedding? Were they going to drive around or anything like that?
No,
Did
she
she
just
say?
said that they were going to her aunt's wedding.
Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
So do you know during the 17th, between the 17th and the 22nd or so, when back, if you did any babysitting for?
He stayed the night.
Well, yeah,
That was
she
right
did,
before
but-
they left for the
Yeah,
second.
but I never babysat for them.
So
She
he
was
didn't
still
come
here.
over here when she spent the night to get her?
No, this
they
closed
just walked
my
her.
car.
Oh, he used to pick her up.
Yeah.
When she would come over, he would just pick her up and get her, which usually we would take her back. And so he was like, and also my daughter was over at his house a lot.
So February,
Back and forth.
specifically like February 18th, this period of time, this whole week is what I'm really looking to see if anybody.
You want a pen?
No, that's all right. I have a pen. If you remember spending an amount of time here or being babysat or anything like that, the next week
Okay, what day was it?
After she came back?
What day was
Yeah,
it?
after she
What
came
day did I
back.
take the kids to the water park. That was after she came back.
That was
wasn't
the
it?
day that she came back.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the day she came back, I took.
A Saturday or a Sunday? Because she came back at like 2 in the morning on a Saturday
It was
night.
on
Exactly.
Sunday.
Okay. Over into-
She is.
Saturday. It was Saturday. Saturday.
Oh, was it?
That's when that Boy Scout
Party was.
party was.
So if you took
H2
her.
Oasis. Okay, so on Saturday at 1 p.m., I took my son and my 2 daughters to H2 Oasis.
With-
No. She came over here
Yeah, she
right
didn't wanna
before
go.
we
She
left,
said
but
she
she
was
didn't want to go.
swimming too much
But she
already.
stayed. She hung out here all day.
Yeah.
Oh,
While the person she came over to play with went with me, and we left.
Yeah,
we were
I-
gone like 6 hours.
I
But
just
she
hung out
kept
with
having
her.
to call him and ask if she could stay longer.
Yeah, she
every
did.
hour.
She has every
do
time
you
she comes
know-
over,
do
she
you
has
know,
to check in.
were all you guys who was here?
I just
was
took me and my
here,
3
she
kids.
was here.
Everybody else was here.
Was he home, or you can't really see his truck?
Yeah,
you
I don't
if
know
he's
for
in?
sure if he was home, but I know that she acted like he was home.
Yeah.
She kept saying that she was supposed to be, that she had to call him to see if she could stay longer.
Yeah, every time she
That's
comes
all.
over, she has to call him like
And
every
you-
hour.
Well, he called her. The only calls we have from him to her on the 18th are 6:40, 7:50 in the evening, 6:40, 7:54, and 8:52.
On the 18th?
on the 18th.
Oh, yeah, and I called
No,
back.
she may have been calling him. I don't
Oh,
have
so
those.
those are his outgoing.
These are only-
she was calling him because she would ask if she could
No,
stay
these are
longer.
actually his outgoing and
And
incoming.
she had to call Israel to ask
So
if
she
she could
wasn't
take her to
calling that
Pie.
number.
I was going to
To
take her out
go to
for
Pie, because she took her out for Pie that day.
So I called to ask if I could do that.
Took her out to what?
Yeah.
Hi, I was, when they went to H2 Oasis, I just hung out with her. She doesn't have any little brothers or sisters,
Yeah.
so she's all alone over there, so I was like, you can hang out with me.
She likes to spend time
And
over
we
there.
played some video games, and then my friend was coming over, and I was like, oh, maybe we can go out for pie. So I called Israel and asked if I could take her.
Yeah.
So then I took her to the village.
And you called his cell phone.
Because
Yes,
she
I
was
called
Did
waiting
it
for
seem like he was
to
at
get back.
home?
Yeah. It seemed like it.
That was at
Yeah.
4 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was wanting to go back, and thought that they were only going to be gone a couple hours for a birthday party, but they ended up staying like
A long time.
Yeah, once
and
you're
so
in the
she
water.
kept waiting for them to come back, and she didn't want to leave until she got back, and so she just kept asking if she could stay longer.
But it's not the first time neighbor kids have hung out at our house.
No,
Yeah.
No.
But she
Yeah.
usually
Without the
doesn't
other
stay
kids
that
being
long.
here.
She
Yeah.
usually isn't
We're
at
very
our house
open
that long.
house.
She's usually only here for a couple hours.
Her dad's very adamant about her staying in touch, and
She has certain
Yeah.
bedtimes, certain meal times, certain
he's-
everything. So.
it's shocking.
What?
Well, we're pretty laid
So
back.
you guys have known him for a couple of years and talked to him and talked to him, and sometimes kids talk. Has he ever kind of mentioned something about maybe a place her and her dad go to that's a special place or some place, could
We're
be
trying to figure out if he may have a place other than right here
here
that he goes
maybe
to
he
often.
goes to. Have
Well-
they ever mentioned anything or she said anything or?
I
I think so.
No. I've never heard her say anything about that. I mean, maybe I would, but like she,
Or any place they go. It may not even be a secret place. It may be some place that maybe they're going to. Could be anywhere. Could be out in the valley. Could be down on Kenai. Could be here in Anchorage Hillside. Just anywhere that maybe they're going to.
Were they
Maybe do
campers?
something.
Did they do things? Did they
The thing
fish?
they did outdoors that I remember that stood out in my mind was they took my daughter canoeing or kayaking
yeah,
at
yeah, at
Sand Lake.
Sand Lake.
It wasn't Sand Lake.
Oh.
It was the other-
What was that?
Jewel Lake,
No, down from there's Jewel Lake, Sand Lake,
DeLong?
DeLong Lake.
the long way.
Oh yeah, they took her boat. Yeah,
And mainly the reason I said that she could even go
Uh,
along was because I knew where it was
canoeing.
at and it wasn't like a long ways away.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
yeah, and he also always took to work with them when she didn't have school and stuff.
Dude
And
took my
she
kid.
took, and he took quite a few times actually before.
Do you know any jobs that he's been doing here in the last couple months
That's-
specifically?
I don't.
Clueless, I don't know where it works
Mention
at.
anything? What do you think? May know something that the two girls talked about because she knew about the truck bed being off.
Right.
She's the only one.
Yeah.
Out of all, seriously,
Yeah.
out of all
Well,
the adults,
and the only
Talk
two
about
people
it.
that noticed that off.
Yeah.
None of the other neighbors noticed
Probably
that.
because
They
he
see
takes
it the
them
most
places and
often,
stuff,
so they would
and
notice
go
if there's something
and she even helped them, like she helps them do their driveway and stuff like that.
And how would you
Her
describe
phone.
what's Israel's? How would you describe his demeanor?
It's just really nice.
Oh, he's.
It's always nice and really nice to.
Outgoing,
said that she
social.
wishes he was
Is
her
he
dad
the kind of person
sometimes.
that has a Facebook page and lots of friends? Is he?
I don't know if he has one. I know he does, his girlfriend.
Yeah, I
on
don't know.
Facebook?
Yeah.
Do you have? Are you friends with her on Facebook?
No, the only reason I know that is because one time when I was babysitting, I used their computer and I went on Facebook and I saw her email. In
Are
there,
you on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Is he on Facebook?
No.
No.
But
Her
she
dad.
does talk to her
Okay.
mom from some kind of FaceTime, maybe Skype, I think.
Well, okay, her dad and her have a really good relationship.
Israel and
Israel. Israel is a really nice guy. So when I heard this, I was very shocked.
And we were like, what?
when we saw he was involved
Well,
with this case.
how about religion? Would you have any idea on what his?
Not that either.
We know
Because the
that
other-
he got mad because he didn't want to come over here because he thought that she was picking up bad language. He thought that she was picking up, oh my God, from here. But it turned out that it was somebody else because we don't allow our kids to do that either.
Well, the reason
So
why I say
that's
it,
all we
some
know
of the
about
other
that.
neighbors said he's a little estranged. One neighbor specifically said, he goes, he remodeled the place and it looks great. We think it's great because it's helped all our property value. And
Yeah.
he goes, I'll wave at him all the time and he'll look at me and almost never respond even with a wave back. He goes, he just seems a little isolated. That's why I'm kind of curious.
He's always
because you
really
guys-
nice. Like when I went to pick up he was in.
I've only met him once.
Every time I
It was
knock
like
on the
2 years
door
ago,
there
so-
or ring the doorbell,
seemed
they
like
never
it.
hear it. I mean, nobody hears it.
Yeah.
Doesn't hear it.
Weird.
He doesn't hear it, and so I'm like standing there like I feel awkward, but but he walked out in the garage, and then he saw me. He was, oh hi, you know, and
You
he
want my
just
daughter?
He's
opened
really
the door,
nice.
and then he said,
I'd like to ask her that.
and when we left, he said thanks for helping me and everything. He just acts totally normal.
Yeah, and it's like,
He
you
said
know,
hi to me before when he
not
was
the
driving by.
fake kind of nice. It's like genuine. Just happy to see you. Really nice
Doesn't
guy.
like look away.
He's
or
so
look
good to
weird
his
or
daughter.
anything.
You know, he does her hair every morning.
How
does he do her hair?
And he'll do it
She
like
said
in
something that-
braids or
Yeah, and she
ponytails
said
or-
that he uses a detangler spray and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Because she
Have you
just
ever
said
seen
she
her?
didn't have
That I
it.
mean, like French braids, or what kind of
No.
braid are you talking about? Like this
Yeah.
ponytail?
Tight woven
Tight?
to the head?
I mean,
or
what kind?
No,
Oh no, it depends. I mean,
It's usually loose.
yeah, usually she just has a loose little ponytail in there.
Loose-
It's
or
really
loose
hard for her to
braids or
handle because her hair is really
lot
wild
of
and
hair.
thick.
But
you know.
he's comfortable in doing it.
Yeah, he is. He does her hair every
Every
morning.
now and
Which
then
is
he really
unusual
straightens
for
it,
most
which is-
dads.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're a single dad or
Yeah.
Unless
something.
you're
and-
single dad.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there. She's
Sometimes
been with him
Kimberly
for a while
straightens it
now.
and stuff like that, but usually
Yeah, one
it's
time Kimberly
curly.
straightened it. No, actually, I think the salon did that for her.
Oh,
She went and got her
really?
hair done. So,
Yeah, maybe that was it.
but yeah,
Have
he's
you guys
so good to her.
spoken to Since then?
Never ever met or even seen.
Time I go there,
Which is weird.
she'll just be like, hi, you know, and that's
I've
it.
always just
So,
seen him. That's
Have you seen her since this?
No, I have not.
We haven't seen any of the family. I mean, I walked down there when I saw the CSI the next day because I was like, what the heck? Or that day, actually.
You kind of figured out after that we left and that happened. It was a little more than.
Yeah, this was when I saw
What?
CSI. All
So
of a
we were
sudden,
all crying.
I
thinking
instant-
something
I
was wrong
instantly
with
go
me.
into CSI, you know,
Yeah,
someone's
sure.
dead
Lost
mode,
or something.
or you know, and never until the media even mentioned the Koenig case, I was just like,
Well, I know you asked me because you guys were clearly, when I came over that night, worried about. He stuck his head out and asked me specifically, and I said, she's fine. How
Yeah.
you remember me, don't you? I've got a question, and it's okay if you answer because I know, like with my kids, we have special words that we may say if somebody's in danger or they need something, that if you don't know that special word, you can't get picked up. You know, somebody comes to you and says, hey, you know, your mom and dad told me that I can pick you up and take you home. They have to know a special code word, right? Have you ever heard of that? Okay. Yeah, some people have that, and I'm wondering maybe if when you, since you guys are such good friends, if you guys have ever talked, if she's ever mentioned anything about maybe a special place or even a secret place that she may go to with her dad or some place that's not around here, if she's ever talked about going anywhere and having anything just that just might even seem odd or may not seem odd at all. Has she ever mentioned anything about that? Or any secrets or anything like that? And it's okay to tell adults because right now it's very important. There's sensitive. So even if you made a promise to her saying, I will never say a word about this, and it's always important to keep promises, but right now somebody could be in danger. So that's why it's really important for us to know. And it would be okay to tell us.
No, she's never.
Never said anything, mentioned anything.
The first time she told me something like that, she just told me that she had a door underneath her stairs.
She had a door underneath the stairs.
And that was, I never really noticed it, but it was actually really in plain sight.
Is it a hidden door that you don't notice? It's just a regular door?
Yeah, it's just a door on the wall underneath her
Okay.
stairs.
Did you guys go in there?
We play in it sometimes with our flashlights.
Yeah. Okay. The counting lines around is like fun to try and scare yourselves.
Kinda.
Okay, but nothing else whatsoever. Okay, it's really important that if you think about that at all, because we forget stuff all the time. Trust me, I forget stuff every day. But if you remember something like that, to let your mom or dad know so they can call us and let us know. Has she mentioned any time recently about maybe going someplace like the Kenai or Wasilla or Palmer, or said anything like when she came back from Texas the first time when they went to Mexico? I'm sure you guys are talking about the cruise and all the fun stuff she did and all the ice cream you can eat on the cruise, right? So did she mention anything when they came back about going anywhere while they were here before they left for the
They
wedding?
mentioned going to the wedding.
That's all, nothing else.
And the only time that she goes anywhere else besides vacations is when she goes to visit her mom.
Her mom. Where's her mom live?
Washington.
Washington.
And she goes to Taekwondo, of course.
Oh yeah.
Where does she take Taekwondo?
It's somewhere close to this big hill that their house is. I've seen it before. She said she's gone to it. They take kids on like walks and stuff. And I've seen them doing the field
And you
trips.
said a house, close to a house? What house?
No, it's I went with her dad and her once to when he was doing a job. He fixes stuff and makes it look better. And when we were driving back to my house, I saw the kids doing a field trip and they're like all holding hands, walking. And and then she said she knew some of them, and that it was just around this a hill with a house that he did. You just went down the hill, and you just keep going straight, and you could see Taekwondo place.
Okay. So that's just a house that he probably does.
But I think that her school takes her to it.
To Taekwondo?
Yeah, because he picks her up.
Okay.
But
So it could be Champs. I know Champs doesn't work.
It's changed.
Actually, I think it is Chance. It
I
is.
think it is.
Camp picks them up. I've seen
Champs
the van.
picks them up at school, yeah. That's what I was wondering. I've seen those.
She tells us every time she goes higher in balance and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So.
Don't mess
Well,
with it.
thank you very much. I
Okay,
appreciate
is that all
You've
done?
had a wonderful memory. That's all we need.
Anybody have anything else that they want to add right now?
Is there anything you can tell us?
No.
Well, just that, I am. I'm actually, and I'm not trying to sound
get
like
that.
all other parents and
Yeah,
everything, but I am really careful with my kids, and I'm
Yeah.
really good judge of character. I can see he's the one who introduced himself to us so that he could make sure that we're okay for to come and see it and be here, and I mean, he just is a really nice guy, and we just never saw any sign of any problems ever, and my kids are they'll tell us anything that's weird. I mean, they're
I could
even
tell,
if they're scared, be
very
like,
articulate.
yeah, she tries to be, she wants to know, and to people to know what's going on. She's, she doesn't know a lot, she knows more than all the other little kids over there.
And there'll be things. There's going to be stuff forthcoming in the press. But at this point, anything that we said, could jeopardize. This is still a very sensitive investigation. We still haven't found. We don't know the whereabouts of Samantha Koenig.
Right.
And so at this point, releasing any information could harm the chances of finding her. So.
In other words, she wants to shut up.
Well, I mean, that's why we're not going to tell you. Because we're not going to tell you anything more than what the press has had out there.
Right.
And
And that's why, we have this phone call list that we have to come ask questions.
My biggest question is, and our number one concern is obviously, and my only question is, throughout this whole thing, I'm sure family down in Texas.
I went to Texas. I talked with.
My only other question is she going to her mom's in Washington or staying in Texas?
That'll be something that the child services in Texas will sort out.
And so will she be able to call or anything? I mean, we don't know if she has one of those Alaska numbers that can only work in Alaska.
I don't think anybody's going to stop her.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
we're not if she wants to.
Here's
call
what I
her
suspect is going to happen soon. Israel's not in a position to pay his phone bill. So any phone that she does or did have is not going to be working
Right.
for very much longer.
So yeah.
So and then it'll be whoever's custody that ends up in to decide whether she gets a phone call or I can tell you that when I talked with her, she seems to be in good. She's happy where she's at. She's having
one of
fun
those
at
types
this
of
point.
kids that
So
just sort of
Punches.
Yeah.
she just
If something happens that she doesn't want to happen, she's like, oh, well, I'll just make the best of it usually. So.
But is there if she was able to get a hold of us, would somebody be able to give her our
has she
numbers?
called Melissa
Sure that
before?
she knows.
Or I mean, she has phone numbers for somebody here. Does your daughter
She
have?
had my phone number in her phone, but I don't know if it like turned off if she wouldn't be able to call it or anything.
Well, she could access your phone number from her phone. She just couldn't call. So
Right.
if her
And I don't-
grandmother down there,
Yeah, and I don't know
called,
whether
she said,
they're letting her.
They
make
probably
phone.
wouldn't want to,
because of
right
what's
now,
going on.
yeah.
They may.
Yeah, they may be.
And they don't know what's really
Right.
going on and who's involved and what. So they may
Yeah.
be trying to shelter her somewhat.
Yeah, I
also.
can understand that. But hopefully
She
she'll
was
be able
here,
to
we'd
get.
be protecting her.
Hopefully
Yeah.
someday
Somebody
she'll be
else.
able to get back in touch with. Like I said, I mean they spent like 2 years together,
Yeah.
always. And when she went to her mom's in all the other vacations, it was always a sad time for.
Yeah, she didn't really.
So is there anything you need
It's-
out of us? Other
No.
than-
She's the only kid
It's
we like around.
it's 11:02 by my watch. I'm gonna go up.
If there is some
Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate those of you who have the same level of interest in this case as I do. All of these details and all of these interviews were really fascinating for me to listen to, but I'm kind of a nerd, and this case has, for some reason, just fascinated me. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Victoria Evans. Be safe out there.